We got people wanting to get into the meeting here, sorry.
Oh, okay, no.
But basically,
Carla just removed herself.
she just joined. Carla, are you back? All right, we'll get started here. I know she was on. Maybe she hadn't.
Okay.
So
Sure.
basically, this meeting I asked for at least discuss over the last since Thanksgiving. I've had a number of people asking me, could we get back to the hybrid model? And I knew that there would be mixed emotions, mixed feelings, mixed wishes, however you want to word that. Just because of the numbers, because of the time of year, everything else. Just more recently, I've had a number of parents saying, you know what, this mental health is really starting to decline because they are asking to get back into school. Again, I'm not saying that on the teachers' parts or the staff parts that they've done anything wrong. They've done the absolute and definitely have done better than what we did in the spring, and they worked very, very hard. So, I mean, it's not a knock on that either. But what I would like to do is I would like to move back to the hybrid model that we were in prior to Thanksgiving. Based off of the surveys that I got with the teaching staff and support staff, it was pretty much 50-50. It was 48% that wanted to stay to the hybrid model that I'm proposing, and it was about 52% to the distance model. When I surveyed the parents, it was 80% to 20% that said they would like to get back to at least the minimum of the hybrid model. And so that decision that I am coming to you guys to discuss is something a little bit more down the middle of that, where yes, we do have a little bit of class time. It's not full in person. It would go back to where the floor would be in the building, where 5 through 12 would be the 2 days in, 2 days out, Mondays off. They don't have the day off. It's a makeup day. They have to meet with their teachers and stuff. But that is a proposal that I would like to go with. But I also know that the school board would like to have a discussion on this, and obviously in order to have a discussion on it, we have to have a public meeting. That is why we are here. Well, I will open it up to questions, comments, among the board members.
I'm just wondering what kind of response you got from Johnson Memorial and some of the public health experts, just considering that our community is in kind of an outbreak status at the moment with our hospital COVID beds full and, half the residents at Johnson Memorial having the virus right now.
The response that I got, there was 2 persons responding, and I won't use their names, but one of them is saying no, they don't agree with any in-person instructions of anything. The second person that responded, the COVID beds are not full. I think they got 1 or 2 open, I think she said. The testing is definitely way down from the week before. I think there was a little over 200 tests that week before Thanksgiving. The positivity rate at that point was 22 to 25%. As of the email yesterday that we got, there was 90 tests since Thanksgiving. That positivity rate has dropped down to 7.8%. Countryside Public Health, and fully respect this, and I'm not just saying this because we have employees of Countryside here on the board, but Countryside is more going to advise us if we are stepping too far left or too far right as far as going into this. In our meeting on yesterday morning, there's a number of the schools around us that are going to either stay in hybrid or move back into a hybrid model. I do know that Lacaparo, the last Monday, before they go on Christmas break, they are going to go distance learning, and then they will decide whether to come out of it or not over the Christmas break. But otherwise, those schools that we mentioned, Benson's going back to in-person. YME and McRae are, excuse me, are wanting to get back into their hybrid models. Canby has been in person but spread out model since the beginning of the school year, so that's what they consider their hybrid model. But nobody batted an eye. At least we talked in the meeting yesterday. So again, I'm not going to, I won't corner anybody. Same thing with the regional health people out of Marshall. They were also in on this meeting yesterday, and like I said, nobody batted an eye. In fact, like I said, Cami being in the position that they're in, their numbers are much higher, including much higher inside the building than what we have. What do you read from that? Well, here's our numbers. You make the decision. Is basically what I'm saying, and that's kind of what we asked for during the summer. So. Carla, I don't know if that answers your question, but
I guess I'm just really surprised at that. I mean, the situation is bad enough that federal healthcare workers have been called in, and I just can't imagine bringing all these people into the school building is going to help that situation. I feel strongly that this is not something that we should do for this 1.5 weeks before a vacation break. It just doesn't seem like the time in our community to, even though I know our school is safe and I know everything inside our building, I think people are doing everything they possibly can in our building, but just looking at our community as a whole, I just don't think this is the time.
Excuse me, Dave.
Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, could you give us the total amount of days for hybrid for the high school and elementary that the kids will be attending before Christmas break?
It wound up being, if you look at it, I believe it's 3 and 4. I got to get my calendar here. Let's see, 1, so 2, 2, 3. Yeah, so it'd be 3 and 3.
So 3 days. High schoolers will be having 3 days then, essentially, right?
Yeah, 3 in and 3 and 3 online, and then both Mondays, if they need to come in, they can come in. A lot of times, all that is where they are meeting with their teachers and getting their makeup work done.
I don't know. I guess I've talked to people on both sides of the issues. So I know people are concerned about mental health. I feel like that's the thing that I hear the most. And I just wonder if there's some maybe more creative things we can do around providing some mental health instead of trying to bring all these people into the building just for this time.
And this is Dave again. This is obviously a very tough issue, and I can see we have 67 people tuning in. So thanks everyone for dialing in and caring so much. That means something. But I guess I would just and obviously, I mean, I work for public health, and I've been doing monitoring calls for 5 months, and I'd be going whatever the board decides is I'm 100% backing. But just where I'm at right now, I don't think we could. I think for those 3 days to roll the dice before people get together for Christmas for 3 days, I think it'd be a no-brainer. After the new year, it'd be a no-brainer. I'd be back in hybrid. That's what the students need. That's what I got a 5th grader and a kindergarten. I'm trying to get through this distant learning, and it's been nights at the kitchen table with math and after my job and stuff. So I get it, but I just I think especially with the high school for 3 days, I wouldn't lose that. I don't know if you call it that study hall day. Like if kids are struggling and they need to come in, that I would be, or it's just that I would be totally for students opting into that, even on the elementary. If we do decide to go hybrid or continue distance, have students have the option who are struggling in something to be able to communicate with the teachers. I know the teachers, my kids, have been really good at staying in communication teaching them some of that stuff has just been tough on my end too. Doing a math problem is a lot easier than just describing how to do the math problem. So that's kind of where I guess that's kind of where I'm at. But like I said, I'd like to see both sides of this issue greatly discussed, but I just don't. It'd be a lot easier this decision would be a lot easier if it was after the new year.
I agree with that. I would fully support this after the new year, but I just think we haven't given it maybe enough time. And just between these two holidays, I just feel like this is a lot of change for just that short time. And I mean, I've talked to a couple teachers too, and I just know it's a lot of work switching models like this. So to switch for just, those few days creates a lot of extra work for them, I would think, where we kind of have a little momentum and a bit of a routine going at the moment. I don't know.
And I'm on the other end of the spectrum. I think K through 3 or K through 4 need to be in the building. I mean, high school, I can see they can stay able to do distance learning. They can handle it, but I think elementary needs to be in the classroom.
Good morning, everyone. This is Ann. I too have had a lot of visits and phone calls and emails on both sides, and I see both sides. Obviously, I've been doing COVID response since February. What I think is interesting is when we let the kids out is when our numbers went up. So even without the kids in a classroom, our county numbers went up. So, I think we'd be okay letting them go back and making sure, every safety precaution was in place, which I feel we have. But I just don't know that bringing them back for a 10-day stretch where they're all just going to be in school for 3 days of that. What I'm hearing from teachers and parents is a very resounding, whatever we choose, we need to stick to it. This bouncing back and forth has been really difficult. And we knew that coming into this school year that there was going to be some bouncing back and forth. But I think it's time to pick a model and to get these kids into a groove. And I do think that, I'm a huge believer that the best place for kids is in the classroom. I couldn't do what these parents are doing. There would be no way. But we need to make sure that everybody's safe, that everybody's comfortable. I agree with Carla. It's a lot of work for these teachers to bounce back and forth on these teaching models. But our numbers went up when the kids were out. We talk about getting together for Christmas and how people are together for Thanksgiving. That's exactly what we said to not do. So that makes me a little bit nervous. My family is big on getting together and we did not, and we won't for Christmas either. We all have to work on that end of it if we want these kids in the building as well. So that's just my 2 cents.
This is Brett. You guys can hear me okay too, I assume?
Yep.
I get a lot of calls too, and I got mixed emotions. I have both my parents right now are in quarantine because they tested positive. Dad's almost out of it. He hasn't had any symptoms. My mom had a slight fever just one day. But I don't know, the sooner we get these kids in the building, the better. I feel I know it kind of seems redundant for 3 days. I think the elementary kids suffer the most. I don't have any elementary kids right now. I'm getting calls from parents that are worried their kids are going to be a year and a half behind just because of distance learning. And this is no I'm not picking on the staff or anybody. This has been really difficult for everybody. It's a crazy situation, but I have mixed emotions too. Like you said, 3 days, but at the same time, I think we need to get these kids in the building, but I don't have the right answer either. I'm not sure what to do. I mean, the kids, you know, the recovery rate out there for is what, 99.9. I mean, I don't want to see anybody sick either, but I don't know. It's getting to be so hard on these kids and adults too. So that's my 2 cents.
I guess I just feel like the timing with our outbreak at Johnson Memorial, I just think it's bad timing and really inconsiderate for us to say, you know, they're in the middle of a crisis and yet we're going to put a few hundred people together in this one building. I would fully support something like this when the crisis at Johnson Memorial is over, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. And I know, like Brett said, parents are worried their kids are getting behind, and I've heard that too, but we're not the only school struggling through this. So, you know, everyone's kind of in the same boat. I don't think we need to worry too much about our kids specifically getting behind. Everybody is going through this right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think I got the same phone calls from everyone else, and it seems like a lot of teachers are talking about consistency. You know, some of them feel like what they've been doing now the last couple of weeks they're kind of in a routine. They like to keep it. I can see that. I know that when we go distance learning, it puts a lot more pressure on parents. They have to do a lot more homework and stuff too. Myself, I'm kind of skeptical with all the testing. My mom tested negative 3 times, and then they did a blood test, and she come back positive for the antibodies. So I don't know how even trusting all the testing. So I don't know, and I'm even thinking maybe just 1 week distance learning past the holidays, because everyone, like I said, everyone's getting together. They're not staying home, and so I think that, you know, you're bringing all those people from all over the area and just kind of will be kind of compounding the problem. And of course, the other thing too is a lot of the kids are asymptomatic, and so, you know, they get together, they might not show signs, but yet I don't want to be responsible for spreading it in the community either. So that's my 2 cents.
Kim, you have anything?
Yeah, no, I kind of agree with what you've been saying. You know, 3 days, you know, before holiday break, I don't know if that's beneficial or not to get back in the classroom. But definitely after the holidays, I'd like to looking to get into back to that hybrid, I guess.
Mr. Hanson, this is Ann. How is Canby doing that they've been all in this whole time? How are they able to spread those kids?
They put them up in their gym. They put them out on their stage, that type of stuff. I know that they've got a couple out in they can divide up the cafeteria area. But yeah, they've been in-person hybrid the whole time. And including they went through, well, their numbers are still a lot higher, both outside in the county and inside the building. But somehow, some way, they get them spread out that way.
You know, just another point that a teacher had made to me too is if we do go back, we send these elementary kids back, probably two of those instruction days are sort of taken up with holiday parties. At least for some of those kids who aren't there every day. I mean, so then that even takes more learning days away. If putting kids, you know, bringing kids into school and so they can have a holiday party, I just don't know.
That's not why I'm suggesting this.
Oh, I know you're not. But you know, if the kids were there, that's what would happen, you know, of course. And I just don't know if it's a good idea.
Well, I have a feeling on Monday, we're gonna get told by Governor Walz exactly what he told us the Monday or Tuesday before Thanksgiving. He's gonna recommend no travels, don't mix the households, that type of thing. I have a feeling we're gonna get told that again Monday. And so I'll be honest with you, you know, and I put it in my own email. I understand the specialness of the holidays. Thanksgiving's lost, I want a Christmas, okay? If your reasoning for not going to Thanksgiving with your family is because, well, because the governor told us not to, we don't want to mix. I have a feeling, and obviously I can't speak with great certainty yet, but I am pretty positive we're going to get told on Monday, don't do the mixing with families and that type of thing for Christmas either. And so I don't know if that's going to happen. I can't, you know, I'm not going to tell people what to do, but you know, so I'm not saying it's not important. But, you know, I don't know if that's, you know, the timing of it all. I understand it. I understand it's only 3 days. I understand that. But I know that Countryside, I know that Johnson Memorial, I know that myself, I put out messages during these study, you know, distance learning time. Go get your kids tested. Go get them tested. Go get them tested. And for whatever reason, they didn't do it. Now, again, I'm not saying it's good, bad, or indifferent. They choose to, you know, because they didn't want to upset the apple cart. Did they choose to because their kids are healthy? Did they choose not to because they don't, you know, whatever, that type of thing. So I don't know. But like I said, in our superintendent's meeting yesterday, you know, everybody was having the same discussion. We don't know what is or what is out there, because when we went to distance learning, people quit communicating with the school. And I know I've had Leah and Danielle both on the phone trying to get a hold of people. I find out, this is one of the few times in my 25 years of my career, I find out from my kids, I let the nurse know that, okay, maybe you need to call this business. Normally I don't do, you know, find information for my kids. So I think, you know, some of those questions like that, you know, whether it's now or whether it's January 4th, we're still going to have that question. And I don't know. I can't. I wish I could predict with the crystal ball what could or couldn't be. So based off of what I know for our facts, the numbers that we have for sure right now, you know, and I've been asked the same thing, what happens if it blows up inside the school? I don't have a strong feeling that would happen. Not saying that it couldn't. It's just that I feel we have better communication from the parents. We have a better grasp of things when we at least see these kids at least 2 times a week, at a minimum, if not more, and we know what's going on out there. Dancing with this, you know, somebody made mention in some of their narratives that I don't feel safe until there's a vaccine. And I know the news is saying we're going to move teachers up to the first level of getting the vaccine if you choose to get it. But in all reality, it's probably not going to be until February. Well, I can say right now, being in a distance until the beginning of the middle of February probably is not a practical thing either. You know, we have lost a couple of families already. You know that. And one of them is going either to Canby or Minneota. Either way, that's a heck of a one-way trip. You know, so it is starting to hit. But like I said, I will follow what the beliefs are. I don't have an issue with it. But just know that, you know, I am getting the beating drum that we need to get these kids in at a minimum with that hybrid model. Whether that's you know, if a teacher decides to have a Christmas party, which given the time and frame of what we're dealing with, I don't know if there's going to be a lot of Christmas parties because we didn't have a lot of Halloween parties either. Not saying that didn't happen, I'm guessing, but you know, that again, I'm trying to balance here, with, like I said, that drum, get these kids back in the building is getting much louder than it was. And also balancing with the fact of the timing of the year, how to keep everybody safe. And so that, like I said, that's why I wanted to have this, because it's just like, I need to know what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, I know that you're getting a lot of pressure from parents, especially to have the kids back in the building. And I just feel like I would fully support that after the holidays. I just think that the timing right now is not healthy for our community as a whole. I mean, I would fully support it when things get sort of under control in our hospital and, after people have been together for the holidays, I guess.
So Dave, are we kind of looking at two different things here? I think we need to decide if we're going to go back now and how we're going to go back. And then on January 4th, we bring them back, and how do we bring them back? I think we're looking at two different things. Are we going now? And if we're going, how's it going to look? And on January 4th, how are we coming back in? Are those the two things that we need to answer right today?
Right. That's like I said, if we were to go back to hybrid, that would tell me exactly what I would do on January 4th. And I don't know which one of you said it, but I agree. Once we're in it, we're pretty much going to stay in it. Unless, what really drove going to high or distance learning was we had close to 20 teachers gone, either close contact or positive. And that's, like I said, it's very hard to run a teaching model or educational model. We just don't have enough subs. But right now, we're as healthy now as we've been since September.
And how many kids do we have in there every day for daycare?
Right now, we're at 75.
Okay, and then how many kids, because our challenge program still runs, right? And our special ed, so how many kids does that bring into the building?
Well, challenge it doesn't bring to our building, and obviously they're stationed over in the church right now, but right now I believe
it brings people together.
There's about 4 or 5, yep, that comes there. And then special needs are students that receive special services. I better clarify that. It's not just special ed students, but you also have ELL. We have a couple of students with OT and that type of thing. So you're probably looking at, I don't know, probably 5 or 6 a day that way too, just depending on the day.
We have less than a third of our student capacity coming into the building on the elementary end.
Right.
Less than a third, Amy?
Yes.
Okay.
I can't hear it.
Jordan Baldwin, what are you thinking when you said K-4, pre-K to 4? What are you hearing?
Everybody that I hear from wants to be in school. Or wants their kids in school.
I mean, I agree. I think the best place for our students is in a classroom. 100%. I'm just kind of dragging my feet. Do we bring them back for how many days before the holidays? But and I think this is something I need to ask too, Mr. Hansen. How are our janitors doing? And are they, I mean, it's going to be a lot of extra cleaning, and did it go okay the first few months we were in? I've heard the kids are like awesome about keeping masks on from everybody.
That has not been a problem at all, from my perspective anyway. The custodians have done very well. In fact, we did hire that part-time person just to go around spraying things, obviously. Since we have gone to distance learning, a number of things that our custodians have been doing, for example, we're doing some inside work for the project where we're not going to disturb any learning area. They've actually started moving stuff out of those areas because, that they have the time to do that. So, health-wise, our custodians, like I said, we're as healthy now as we were back in September, because we had a couple of teachers, either because of positive or close contacts, were on quarantine even on the first day of school. So, we had a couple of kids there that were positive or close contacts that were quarantined even back in September. So health-wise, inside the building, we are as good now as we were in September. Certainly we can stay in this distance learning model until Christmas break is done. I'm not going to deny, though, I will make the recommendation that we get back to the hybrid ASAP coming back. And I know how that sounds. The only way that would change my mind is if we have raging numbers. And it would have to be on the scale of what we saw prior to Thanksgiving before it changed my mind. Like I said, I'm not going to talk out of both sides of my mouth. Come Monday, Governor Walz is going to tell us, stay home, don't go visiting for Christmas. I get it. Parents are going to do what they're going to do. I don't have an issue with that. I agree that you have to make your own choices for your family. But if the reason why people didn't go to Thanksgiving is because, one, they were afraid of the spread, they were afraid whatever Governor Walz told us, those conditions have not changed between Thanksgiving and Christmas. So come heck or high water, you're going to go to Christmas no matter what. And, that type of thing, I don't, whatever that type of thing is, that's fine. I'm not going to point that out to anybody, but I'm just saying that part of it I can't control. So, but I do agree. Once we're in a learning model, we need to stick in it and stay in it. But like I said, if you want the brass tacks of it all, we did not have the staff to stay in a hybrid model leading up to Thanksgiving. We just had too many people gone. And otherwise, I wouldn't have changed this there either. So.
Yeah, Dave, this is Dave, and I just got to say, I commend you for wanting to be leading teachers in person, and I absolutely commend all the teachers who want to teach in person. It shows we have the right people in the positions to teach our kids. And I know what we're asking to delay that a few more weeks, but I really got to acknowledge that it's awesome to see the people wanting to lead and teach in person.
Well, Dave, do you want to vote from us, or do you want, take a poll?
Carla and Dave, I pretty much have a pretty good read on what your thoughts are. Jordan and Brett, I think I have a pretty good read on you guys. Ann, I think I have a read. But I don't know. Carla and Dave, I'm just going to say this. You guys would rather stay in the distance learning model. You don't have to say anything. You just nod your head.
Yes, and I would fully support hybrid after the holidays.
Jordan, obviously, I know that you would rather choose to have students in the building. Brett,
Yes.
I'm going to put you on that side of the column too, that you would rather have kids in the building. Cameron, I don't have a read on you either. So.
Yeah, no, I think it'd be best to stay distance learning until after the holiday break.
And
Honestly, I'm really riding the fence. If they were coming back for more than 3 days, I'd probably say let's go. These kids need to be in school. But to bring them back for 3 days, I think my biggest thing is once we make a decision, that is where we have to stay. So on January 4th, when we come back, we're coming back hybrid, and then we really have to do our best to stay there. And then at what point do we bring them all back in? What does that look like?
That one's gonna ride a little bit more so on, can we have these kids closer than 6 feet?
Okay.
That's really, and again, the construction is a great thing where there's a lot of positive things. We're finding a lot of things are under budget more so than we thought. It's also taken out a couple of places where for us ease of getting back to the gym is not the easiest thing for elementary right now, to use it. And so that spacing out and that type of thing is where we're running a bit of. Well, what I will do then is I will keep us in this distance learning model until Christmas break. But I won't deny, come January 4th, that will be a day where teachers are going to have to come in and get ready to go, because we will be going hybrid on January 5th. And the only way that will change that is if the numbers start racing on us, like it was before Thanksgiving, because those numbers are way down too right now, at least related to 56232 as well as Boyd.
So David, correct me if I'm wrong, you're saying that Monday the 4th would be a transition professional day, still counted as a student contact day?
Right, and I have to do that. That's under executive order, so.
Yeah.
I think that's a strong idea, Mr. Hanson.
Yep.
But then that only gives me one more day of transition, and I'm up to day 166 with all the changes in calendar, so I don't have any more beyond that. So like Ann said, we need to work like the Dickens to, at a minimum, stay in that hybrid, if not get better to get to in-person.
Hey, Dave, another question that I had brought to me was now, because you can bet we're going to start getting some snow days at some point. So those snow days, are they snow days, or can we do distance learning on those days?
I would say that we're a lot more prepared for e-learning in those days.
Yeah.
So we have up to 5 of those winter snow days that we can make up via distance learning. Knock on wood, we continue to have the weather that we've had. We don't know it won't, but hopefully it's at a minimum.
We appreciate you making this difficult decision, because I know you get the
Tomorrow,
backlash.
you'll be with Tyler in the library.
Sounds good.
Okay.
But I think all of us on this meeting are getting something one way or another. This is not easy for anybody, and there's one of you 7 that said, you know, this is affecting everybody, and I agree with that. One way or another, it's affecting you, and this is not easy. I won't deny, like I said, I will fight for the teachers. Excuse me, I will fight for the teachers, but I also know part of my a big part of my responsibility is also to fight for these kids and what's right for them too. I knew that those 2 surveys went out. In fact, I had both principals watch the results come in, and both of them kind of smiled at me and said, "Good luck." And, and it was in a professionally joking way. I mean,
right.
But you know, I appreciate what everybody here on this meeting has done. We will stay in the distance learning model through Christmas break. January 4th, unless the numbers start racing on us again, like it was before Thanksgiving, January 4th will be a transition day for teachers, and then we will be full hybrid, which is pre-K through 4 in the building, and 5 through 12 doing the 2 days a week, just like we were before Thanksgiving. That will start on January 5th. We're going to fight like the Dickens at a minimum to stay to that. Any questions?
That sounds good, Dave. Anyone else have any questions?
No. I do just want to thank all the teachers and administration and janitors and everybody who's played a role in this, and the parents. I know this isn't easy, and I'm just thankful that now we have a plan, and we're going to go forward with that and try our hardest to stick to that.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see what the governor has to say too. So I mean, at least he's taken that part out of our hands. Because I've had some parents seem like they're worried about the sports aspect of it, and so at least we're not going back to school for those type of reasons. But if anyone else doesn't have any other questions, I think we gave Dave a direction for him to follow. So if
Yes, I
not,
know.
oh, go ahead, Dave.
At least I know where everybody stands, which is really what I needed to know, so
Okay.
I appreciate it.
So if nothing else, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved, Jensen.
Moved by
Second.
Jensen, seconded by Bothan. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Meeting adjourned. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
All right, thank
Thanks.
Have a good day, everyone.
Yep.